Good afternoon. Thank you for coming. And throughout the semester, we worked on a website for FHG Furniture and Craft, and the business owner was Anthony. And just to give you a little bit of background about FHG, it is a furniture and craft store designed to make woodworking products for people of all ages. And Anthony's passion is to create a quality product that will last generations of families. And he started this business because he felt called by God to start a woodworking business. A little bit of background about FHG is it opened its doors about 3 to 5 years ago in the Brockport area. And currently he is the only one running his business, and he makes all of his products by hand. And his hours of operation are Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Anthony's business is successful because he strives to make quality woodworking products that will last generations of families, and he believes that by creating a quality product, it will lead to referrals, which in return will create more business. And he also puts his customers' needs first, and we saw that firsthand throughout this semester. He always about customizing the product to what the customer wants.
All right, so I'm going to go over the life of Anthony. So Anthony prefers to spend most of his time in the wood shop creating sawdust, as he puts it, or making products for his customers. In his spare time, though, sometimes he does volunteer work for Untitled Children's Hospital, making wooden puzzles for kids to donate to certain events. Some of the challenges that he faced and that we faced throughout this whole process is one challenge that I had faced, and this is something me and Dr. Kamal had discussed too, was the compare button on the website was a challenge to edit and properly place and try to make it visually appealing. This was later resolved once we enabled the new theme, which we'll show you in a little bit, just what the new theme looks like and what the old theme was. It seemed to resolve most of the issue. Another challenge that we had was during the semester, the FHG newsletter, or the newsletter he had, wasn't sending correctly. And this was resolved when we integrated MailChimp into it, which Zach will get into and discuss more about it in the next couple slides. It's basically a way to make it easier to send out the newsletter. And other things that we did was we balanced some of the technical issues by creating video documents and tutorials for Anthony to reference for guidance later on when he's managing it by himself. Choices Anthony made in the past and present. So in the past, Anthony found it difficult sometimes to use his website properly and edit the features on it before we came along to help him. And he would occasionally get confused when trying to fix an issue on the website because he was unsure about where to go. So now that we've added the new features and tutorials, it seems he's more confident than ever in learning the ins and outs of WordPress and all the features on it. And he finally has some control of what he needs to do for his website. And he can stop worrying about the website so much and make more sawdust, as he puts it, for his customers to make quality products.
So now to get more in depth about what we actually did and going through this entire transition phase and process, we redesigned the entire website first by choosing a new theme, and we kind of got some good input from Anthony. We had him show us examples of websites from other similar kind of companies that are in the woodworking business, and we took bits and pieces from different websites that Anthony liked, and we kind of used that towards his website to create a new theme that he was happy with and he felt could be a long-lasting theme that customers will be able to see on his website. So that was one of the first things we did, one of the main things we focused on. And we also added a compare button for customers to be able to compare his different products side by side, really get a good detail of each of them when deciding to choose between a product. We created a new shop menu layout. We made the categories for the menu much more simplified, and a lot of the categories fit more appropriately into, or the products fit more appropriately into the categories now. So we simplified that to make it a lot easier for the user and the viewer of the website to navigate. We also added a feature through PayPal called Pay Later. This allows people to finance his products without having to pay interest. And by doing this, we opened up his products to more customers of different financial backgrounds, and it was not as restrictive now towards people that might be able to afford to pay it all up front. John Stone, he also created a new logo for his business, which was a nice little touch. We linked his social media accounts to the website so that the viewers of the website could see the different platforms and view his business from a variety of different social media accounts. We added the newsletter subscription pop-up. So when someone visits the website, we set it for 30 seconds after they visit it. There's a pop-up asking if they want to subscribe to his newsletter. Before, he just had a widget on the side that you might have missed unless you're looking for it. So by having a pop-up, it makes it a lot easier for people to subscribe. So then ultimately, he can get more subscribers to his newsletter. And to integrate that with WordPress, we created a MailChimp account for him. And that's a email campaign platform, and it makes it a lot easier for Anthony to send out newsletters. And there's a lot of other neat features with MailChimp that he could use in the future for engaging with his customers and reaching his subscribers and possibly sending out new deals and just keeping people involved in his business. So if we look at the old website, his old theme, there wasn't necessarily anything wrong with the website or the theme, but if you note the colors there and just the overall design, it was pretty plain, pretty simple looking, which is what we wanted. But if you look at the new theme, and I'm actually going to share my screen to do this. Hopefully you guys can see that. If you go to his website here, this is the new theme, which again, we keep kind of the simple layout of the website. We don't want it to be too distracting for its viewers. One of the main things that we added that Anthony wanted, we got his input when we were looking at the other websites. You see this banner right here. When you first visit the website, it's right across the screen. It says, "Welcome to our store." And this is an interchangeable picture and text that Anthony can change out. He might want to put the latest news or information about his website so that people that visit his website can see it as soon as they log into the website. So that's a nice feature that we had there. You can see his different blog posts that he wanted to keep on the homepage, all right here, and the different widgets that we added on the side, for instance, to see the top-rated products. So again, we kept the layout very simple. We added the social media integration right here. Yeah, we kept the layout simple, to the point, not too distracting, and we added a banner here that is a pretty nice touch for people when they first see the website.
I'm just pulling up the slides again. One moment.
Kyle, I believe this is you.
Oh, sorry. I wasn't hearing anything for a minute, so I was trying to see if there was an audio issue with my computer.
I'm sorry. I was talking
So,
for a second. I was muted. Sorry about that.
okay, that's what it was. So did you want to repeat what you said, or? Because I think he's muted again.
You could go ahead, Kyle.
Okay. Okay, there we go. So, one of the major things that we focused on over the course of the actual class, model of IT for development, and this is a diagram that shows the different IT effects can impact development in the and social areas, and then in turn the development in these social and economic areas can lead to improved access to IT functionality. And it sort of creates this cyclical cycle of improvement that is to focus on with our work with Anthony to try and give improvements in some of these areas in order to improve his business overall. Next slide. Or did someone else want to say something?
Yep, I'll go into this next. I have to keep switching my screens for the presentation, but I'll just give you my understanding of this, and I'll pull it up real quick. So this model for development is used to achieve improvement in people's lives in the areas related to government, environment, education, and healthcare. And these development outcomes, they relate to an ICT effect, which in turn will improve human development, which with improved human development, that's going to lead to a higher gross domestic product, which will then lead to higher per capita income. And when this happens, it triggers another ICT effect, which then will help improve more of the development outcomes. So by providing the necessary IT needs, in our case, one development outcome will help improve more of them. And it's really a cycle that is continuous and will trigger more development outcomes as we go.
Yeah, my sort of understanding of the entire model, as Kyle and John mentioned, it's really, to me, it's a good representation of the cyclical process that we see in IT development in the technological world. And to me, it all really boils down to gaining the appropriate and useful IT tools in order to really drive greater revenue and an overall more efficient business process. And by doing that, it could lead to a better utilization of other resources and just expanding a business in the long run. So that's kind of my brief idea of it.
So my understanding of this model is that it's sort of like everyone else said, it's like a cycle. You know, we have the social development relating to the ICT effects, the access to the information and expertise, the competitiveness to market. They all kind of, without one, it kind of breaks the cycle. And each one has an impact on another. So the access to information expertise has an impact on social development and human development, which in turn has an impact on GDP, and then impacts the economic development. And without one or the other, it kind of just falls apart. So without one section of each of the model, it just kind of breaks and it doesn't work. And that goes for, this goes for any business. You kind of need all of these things for a business to fully integrate, kind of just like Anthony's. He needs all of these things to mesh together, or his business wouldn't work either.
There we go.
Kyle?
Yeah, sorry, the slide wasn't loading for me. So here's a few of the examples of things that we actually did for Anthony that relate back to this IT for development model. So like one of the first things we did that we mentioned was we installed the PayPal Pay Later option for his customers when they buy a product on the store, which would then give him advantage against his competitors in receiving more customers because they will have more of an opportunity to pay for the product, which we think ties into the competitiveness and access to market section of the model and will lead to an economic development and getting him more money. The next one was we taught the owner how to edit product information and add various features to products to make them more customizable for the customer, which gives the owner the ability to make his products more diverse and accommodate all the wants and needs of the customer to make a product that they'll really enjoy. And we felt this kind of fit under an access to information and expertise because it gives the customers access to a wider selection of choices, and it gives access to the expertise of Anthony himself, which we think can lead into the social development because if these customers get good products, they will tell their friends about or their family members about the business, which can sort of spread socially, getting him more business. We also added the compare button, which can compare the products before you purchase them. And this allows customers to compare the different products and their prices, which can give them an idea of what exactly they might want, like the dimensions to see what will fit and what won't fit. And we think that this ties into the learning and labor productivity. With the learning, the customers will learn about the products to be able to make an educated decision on what they want. And we feel that this ties into the education development. And we also recreated the newsletter to allow better subscriptions through the pop-up and easier email campaigns through the MailChimp service. And this allows the viewers of the FHG Craft website to opt into the newsletter sign up when they see the pop-up right there rather than having it be tucked away on the side. So it makes it more likely that they'll subscribe since they'll see it, which will then get more subscribers, which then leads to more customers. And the MailChimp simplifies the actual creation of the newsletters for Anthony to make it easier for him to actually send out these emails and add in additional features to the email campaigns. And this also ties into a learning and labor productivity as the customers will learn more about the business through these newsletters. It will lead to an economic development as they'll be more incentivized to purchase products after reading about them through these newsletters.
So we uploaded tutorials for Anthony in his Dropbox. So I'm just going to pull up the Dropbox and maybe we could have each of us just talk about briefly the tutorial that we made and how it could help Anthony. So this is the Dropbox location. I'll start by talking about the MailChimp tutorial. That was a video tutorial that I made for Anthony to walk him through the different steps of sending out a newsletter through MailChimp. It's completely different than what he was using before. I think it's a little bit simpler, and it's pretty nice because I was showing him in our last meeting email templates or different campaign templates, and he could just send out those templates or create a template that he already made before and send it out pretty easily using those different templates for different occasions, or maybe if it's for a certain sale. So it really simplifies the whole process, and it's all done in one location. And there's a lot of other features too, like we mentioned before. You could send out customer surveys through email. There's just a lot of neat features that he didn't have before. So that tutorial there walks him through step by step the process of me setting out a newsletter, so then he could see that video, be able to do it a few times, and then just have the memory from there, so he could do it every time on his own.
All right, so the next three are mine: the product attributes tutorial, the products compare settings tutorial, and the ultimate social media icons tutorial. So the first one, the product attributes, it kind of goes into how to edit various product attributes on a specific product. Like if you wanted to add various features, let's say a candle, and you wanted it for a birthday, Christmas, Thanksgiving, and so on. Well, now he can customize those options by getting a drop-down box menu, and the customer can click on what season they want and how many candles they have, and you can each have separate boxes for that. So I'm hoping that will help him in getting more customers in picking the various products for various seasons, and hopefully it'll help him out with that. The next is the products compare settings. So this is for the compare table and the compare button. Basically, it's the general tutorial on the plugin that we installed for comparing products, to edit the table, to edit what is said on the table, the size of the table, and the size of the button on the screen. Just general settings on how to do that. And the last one is the Ultimate Social Media Icons tutorial. This basically explains how to set up various social media accounts on his website and put in the different icons and where the widget is on the screen, and the size of the widget, and all the customizable things you can do on that. So I think these tutorials will really help Anthony out in trying to figure out to edit those things on his website.
And I did the last tutorial there, the generic WordPress tutorials, because a lot of things I focused on were mainly with the shop menus and creating the new layout and product categories and putting the products into these categories. So I set up a couple of tutorials to go over how to do that, like how to create a new product category, how to make that new category appear on the website's menu, how to add a product into the categories, how to make subcategories, things of that nature. So I have those all, because they were all really similar, so they're all compiled into this one document. And then if he needs to go over how to do that again, he can open the tutorial and just look through it and find the part he needs. So I thought that having it all in one place would be convenient.
Yep, and for my tutorial, I was having trouble uploading it to Dropbox, so I emailed it to him, but I chose to do the pay later function for PayPal. And for that, it's pretty simple once you get into it, but it can be a little bit difficult understanding what some of the features are. So I just explained what that was and showed him on the tutorial how to customize the PayPal buttons and the pay later functionality. You can set certain price limits and have it only apply to certain categories. So that would wrap up our tutorials. And I'm not going to share my screen again because the last slide is just what we learned. So I'm just going to start us off with what I learned. And I learned how to work with WordPress and utilize many of the plugins that are available on WordPress. Like I said, the pay later was a great functionality that we were able to add, and that helped me understand how all the plugins worked, and just working with different widgets and stuff. It really helped me familiarize myself with WordPress. And I learned that there's a lot more than meets the eye with a website. Usually you just log into a website and it's all there. It looks easy, but there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. And I learned that I shouldn't just take a good looking website for granted. And lastly, I learned that in order to create a successful website, you need a good team of classmates, students, because they really are, everyone came together and we were able to make a nice website for Anthony. And also just having a nice, good client was huge help too. So
That was very nice of you, John. Thank you. I think the main takeaways that I gained from this was, especially when you're working with a micro enterprise or a small business owner like Anthony, and you're helping transition them into using more IT or just using technology better for their business. I kind of feel that it's not necessarily about just meeting the end goal by a certain date and not just necessarily accomplishing the main goal that you had. But I think kind of the bigger takeaway from this whole thing is teaching Anthony these skills through these tutorials and through working with him and giving him this knowledge to use IT in a way that he probably never thought that he could have used before and done himself. Because that's really something that he could use years into the future with his business. He could do these things himself, and I feel like he gained a lot from that. So it's not just the fact that we redesigned the website for him, but I think it's more of the fact that we just taught him these useful skills that he could use well into the future and really benefit himself and his business.
So what I learned from this whole experience is that just learning WordPress and trying to figure out how to use it, but ultimately, like kind of like what Zach said, just getting Anthony comfortable with using WordPress. You know, it's his business. He's got to learn how to do it. I'm more than happy to help him with everything that we did. It was a great experience. I'm so happy that I got to work with Anthony and do everything with him and try to get him to understand IT and learn it and get comfortable with it. That way he's in control of his business and no one can take it away from him, and he just knows what he's doing, and in the future he can just go to what we learn, and that's it. He's got what he's got, and that's about all I have to say.
Yeah, I've learned a lot from this as well, and a lot of the same things that everyone else has said. One of the things that I took away from this learning how to work with a client, since it's not something I've ever really done before, but actually in a sort of professional setting, and to learn what he wants and what he needed, and then working with him to try and meet his expectations, and just a really good preparation for getting into a future career in service, because that's what you'll mainly be doing, is working with clients to try and meet their needs. So I feel like overall that was one of the biggest takeaways I got, of course, which is that experience actually working with a client.
Okay, so thank you, all four of you. Very, very nice presentation, and I really loved hearing about all of the things that you learned as a part of this project. And really, one of the main goals for this course, for this topic, as we talk about IT for development, is really the focus isn't on the specific technology, but on business sustainability of using that technology, right? And so the fact that you're able to teach the business owner certain skills, and now the business owner is able to be empowered and take control of the technology to drive greater business revenue. I think that was our main goal, and I think hopefully we've moved Anthony's business one step closer to achieving that goal. So thank you all. I would like to give Anthony the opportunity to speak now, if that's possible. And Anthony, if you'd like to do that, maybe say a few words about your experience with our students this fall. So you can go ahead and unmute yourself and speak if that's what you would like to do.
All right, hopefully you guys can hear me.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Dr. Kamal, I have to say, I have had so much fun working with a team of students. It has been a wonderful experience for me. I will do this anytime you want, first of all. Second of all, these guys, they're amazing. They are very, very patient with someone who is technologically handicapped. I learned a lot. They've made me a very happy client. I think the thing that I brought away from it more than anything was the weekly meetings. The weekly meetings allowed me to stay engaged to the point where I could say we could collaborate together when we had all the minds together at the same time as you have in your classroom. Collaboration was absolutely wonderful. Fabulous young set of men you have working with you today, and I couldn't be happier. Couldn't be happier.
Thank you so much for that feedback. I really, truly appreciate you, first of all, opening your business doors to working with our students, collaborating with us. Despite our restrictive environment, we made it happen. And all of the weekly sessions that Anthony was referring to was done over Zoom. So this was a completely socially distant service learning project, and thanks to all of you, we were able to assist another small business in our local community. So thank you all very much.